I'm Anthony Hudson, and this is the Football CM Show.
Yo, bad guys, stand up in the stadium, roar. Thailand Head action, always wanting more from Ports Rise,
Anthony, thank you for joining me today. You've coached in the MLS in Qatar, New Zealand and the US, and recently at BG Pattern head coach, and you've been technical director of Thailand. You've mentioned being heavily influenced by people like Marco Bielsa beforehand. How has coaching across such a diverse footballing cultures specifically shaped your philosophy and the way you look at the game?
Well, I think it's everything. I think the journey of a coach, you're constantly evolving and growing and developing, and I think just all of those experiences and working with different clubs in different countries, it shapes you in a certain way. And I think over the years I've definitely changed my approach with coaching. And I think everything that was gone before in terms of all those study visits and, like you say, with Marcelo Bielsa and all these kind of travel and then all your experience as a manager, that's all necessary experience to really solidify what you think is important, what's important to you, and what's important about getting the most out of the players. So I've absolutely evolved over the years.
And do you think the way you have to adapt to your players, or do you try and fit the players to a system?
No, I mean, this is probably a mistake I've made in the past. And again, with difficult experiences, you learn over time that really, football's about the players, it's about the fans. But most of all, I mean, I've gone into places and I've been really, really strict and black and white with, this is the system I believe in. This is how we're going to do it. This is your roles within that. And ultimately, unless it's working, you're doing a disservice to the players. So, I believe more than ever now, it's about looking at what's the context, what are the qualities of the players, how do we, without veering away from your beliefs and your idea about the game, but your responsibility as a manager is to get the most out of the players you have, which is quite a bit of a shift from where I was, because I was very single-minded in how I wanted my teams to play. But they're like the core beliefs of what I want from my team is still there.
Yeah. You're one of the youngest coaches to get a UEFA licence. What motivated you to start at such a young age?
Probably because I just realised that I wasn't going to make it as a top player. And, my whole life, I've been in the game my whole life since I was, I grew up in a footballing family. And I love the game so much. I mean, football's really my life. And when I realised I wasn't going to make it to the level I wanted to, I just jumped straight into coaching. And when I started, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And it was almost like when I first started coaching, I felt that all the areas that I struggled with as a player, I could have an impact with other players, which is things that are quite common, whether it's confidence or managing prayer, all these different things that come with being a professional footballer. That was something that I felt very strongly about. But as soon as I started coaching, I fell in love with it.
And with the shift in the modern sort of football towards data, how much does that influence what you do? Do you use data a lot?
Honestly, data drives me mad. It does. I think there's some key data obviously that's very, very important, but it certainly never would lead for me to make a decision. It would be there to support something that I'm seeing or I feel. But I look, it's all very necessary, and it's very valuable in different areas. But certainly for me, I really trust more than ever now when I watch a game. If I see certain issues and the breakdown of certain things, I think that for me is the biggest form of information you can take.
Sure. And in Thailand, do you have access to all the data like that everyone else would have?
Yeah, we do. And again, it is and it's different. It's important for different departments, like sports science. I mean, it's important that they got their finger on the pulse when it comes to players loading and minutes and that sort of thing. And then on the football side, there is key sort of data points that can confirm what you're seeing or not. But certainly it's not something that it's not the first thing I go to when we're looking to find out what's going on.
More of a supporting tool rather than
For
something
sure.
that makes decisions.
For sure, yeah.
Going on to Thailand, we've seen a growing number of players coming through now with mixed heritage, and obviously we see issues in other countries like Malaysia and Vietnam where other players have come in. How do you balance bringing in mixed heritage players and keeping the integrity and the image of the War Elephants as it is?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think what you've just said there is the most important thing. I think, again, I come back to this. What's my responsibility as the head coach? My responsibility is to get the most out of the Thailand team, give the fans a team that they're proud of, and foster and encourage the cultural side of the team is so important, because when you represent the national team, it's something a lot bigger than playing for your club. And I think in the past, you know, I've been with a few national teams now, and I think with the US actually, it was really good, because it's similar to my sort of approach now. I think if there's a player that can help improve the team on the pitch and raise the level and add competition in the group, that's the first thing. Second thing is that person, you know, have the humility to come in, embrace the culture of the Thailand team, and that's something obviously is as important, because if that's not the case, it's just it's not helping the team. And I think I get uncomfortable, to be honest, when we're talking about dual nationals and half bloods, not because it's not important, it is very important, because otherwise we'll get left behind. We want to keep improving the quality of the team, but because it's always a big focus, I always feel uncomfortable, because the most important people right now are the players in the team, and I don't ever want the players to feel like, oh, we're focused on other players, when, you know, actually no, this is the team. This team is most important. Anyone coming in they have to be good enough to improve the team, and they have to buy into the culture.
Do you feel the Thai national team, when you came into it, has a specific style which is based on Thai culture? You can see there's a Thai-ness to it?
It's interesting, because in my role as a technical director, we actually started the project, and you know, we're still working through it, and it's more of a collaboration with all our youth national team coaches and other sort of key football people in the country. I do personally believe there are certain qualities of Thai players that are very, very distinct from other teams, and for me, I truly believe it, and it's about creating a shape and a game idea that gets the most out of the players. But the project that we're undergoing, the important thing is it can't be my views and my opinion. It's got to be a collective. I can't come in and say, right, we're all doing this. It's not my opinion. What's the important thing is we go through a process that allows all our coaches to really identify what's the strengths of Thai play. What are we good at? What's our best qualities? What are we not so good at? Right, now how can we create a game idea, a game approach that gets the most out of these players? So it can't be my opinion. And it goes back to what we spoke about before, in terms of me, a coach coming in and saying, right, we're doing this and we're playing this way. Well, no, it's not about that. It's about, you know, what are the strengths of our players and how do we get the most out of them?
And what would you think the strengths of Thai players as a whole are compared to other nationals?
Well, I think we've got players that are incredibly comfortable on the ball, high level of technical ability, players that are comfortable receiving in tight areas, playing forward. We've got good passers of the ball. I think we have very dynamic players. You know, players that, you know, good quickness, willing to run behind the line, willing to make forward runs. I think these are all, you know, real strengths of the Thai team. And then I think on the mentality side, I believe, and I'm yet, you know, if players or other people want to tell me I'm wrong, I'm open to it, but I truly believe, and I've seen it, and I've worked with the players here, that Thai players, they don't want to go into a game feeling like they're in the inferior team. So in terms of a mentality, I see the best version of Thai players, Thai teams, being aggressive, being attacking, without the ball, being aggressive, building pressure against the opponent. This is what I see are the best traits in terms of on the technical side and the mindset side. And then also I look at the fans. I mean, like the national team jobs, you know, we're doing this for the country, for the fans, you know, and I've been to enough games now. When I went, even the school tournament recently.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy, insane how
It
many
was
people were there.
But it was incredible. But what I took for that, I really enjoyed the games. Crowds were massive, fans were going crazy. But I look at it and I'm watching the game and it was like, it was intense. There's tackles flying in. There's players trying things. There's players running forward, and it was just like that. I feel the fans want to see that from their team. A team that's aggressive, that plays with intensity, that wants to try and win, that wants to be aggressive with and without the ball. I just see these are really strong traits of the Thai players and a reflection of what the fans want to see.
I mean, Thais are actually quite famous for playing seven-a-side, and there's a huge amount of seven-a-side competitions nationally. I think a lot of those skills are based on that sort of game. It's trying to adapt that to the 11-a-side game, I think, which is the challenge, I suppose.
Yeah, but I just, you know, again, I've been, for me, I've been here long. I haven't been here a huge amount of time. I've been here long enough to work with, you know, a lot of the national team players, and even at BG. You know, one thing I'll say about Thai players, the ones I've worked with, not only have they got quality, but just good human beings, really great to work with, and I do believe they want demands put on them. They want to be pushed to their best, and I think their best is playing that way, is not sitting back and waiting, is not being passive or slow in, you know, with and without the ball. I just don't think that suits the players we have. And again, when I look at the fans in these school tournaments, I mean, the fans go when there's a big tackle or someone does some good skill. I mean, this is what the fans want to see. Yeah, and I think that's their strengths.
So you brought players who, like Hudson at Bill has come in. He's been playing abroad and has obviously made a big impact on the team. I think he will have a big impact going forward. How do you go about trying to find those talents playing elsewhere? Are you actively, as a FA, seeking them?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, you know, we, in previous national teams, we've had a strategy around that. With the US, we were very proactive because we needed to, and there were certainly certain positions. I don't know if you remember in the last cycle, the US, we didn't have a huge amount of depth in the striker position. Yeah. So yeah, it was like an aggressive approach to try and identify and recruit. But in my role as technical director, that was something on both sides, and in all age groups we've been looking at. And it's, you know, we don't want to as you said, you make a really good point, we don't want to dilute the Thai team. But it comes back, what's my responsibility? To improve the team. If there are players that we identify that are good enough to come in and raise the level, then we need to look at those players. So for someone like Jude, even before I made contact with him, we'd watched a lot of his you know, older games and then more recent games and his times when he's come off the bench, and we just saw some different qualities from him that we felt could help our team. You know, physicality, his ability to run behind the line. You know, he's got good quality. You know, so I think, yeah, the process is that we identifying who's eligible, and then looking if they're good enough, and then engaging with that player.
I mean, especially if players are playing at a higher level, a different level, and have more experience in something else, I guess it's important. And in, like, counterpoint, after the recent SEA games, how do you ensure that young players who have talent are getting that exposure to game time to let them develop and get that?
Are you talking about with the national team?
Yeah, with the national team.
Yeah, well, listen, I think if there's players that are good enough, they should get a chance. I mean, I probably don't really want to mention any names, but there was one or two in the SEA games. You know, I'm watching the game and I'm seeing one or two, some of the things they're doing, and I know right now you can play in the senior team and you can help us. So look, I've always been someone, whether it was at BG or in previous jobs, I've always believed in youth. I've got no problem playing younger players, but obviously I can't say now what it's going to be like for March, but certainly there are players today, under 23 players, that can help us in March.
So when you first came into the job, obviously you assess the squad and you looked into it, and obviously you took that step from technical director to team manager. Where do you see the strengths and weaknesses of the Thai team? What areas need improving on?
Well, the strengths of the team are what I shared before in terms of what I see. You know, I think one of the strengths, what you said around dual nationals, I think can't be overlooked. They've got just incredible players to work with. There's a really good culture in the team. They all want to do well. You know, you can feel it. You can sense with the players that they're desperate to do well. They care a lot about the team. And then the weaknesses, obviously, I probably wouldn't want to go into too much detail, but I think probably right now, new coach involved, and looking at the short term, the gap that we need to make up is getting the players to understand what's required to win the next game and what's required from their roles. But the squad's in a good place.
And do you think with the announcement, I think yesterday, there's going to be a Nations League in the Asian area, will help improve the games you're going to be having coming up and improve the squad level? I
think so. I've always, again, in previous jobs, I've always believed in playing against, stronger teams, and because I think there's certain games you can play in that you probably don't learn a lot from. And I don't know if the players really get motivated by playing in those games, worried about injury or whatever it might be. But certainly I do believe playing against good competition is ultimately how you develop the most.
I think it means that actually each of the friendly, rather than having friendlies, you're having games that actually mean something. Because I guess
for sure,
the qualifications lead to promotion, lead to qualifications to other tournaments, which is great. Really.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, really good.
And Thailand will be ranked probably in the first or second group. I'm not sure.
Possibly, yeah.
A significant structural difference or challenge you've noticed when coaching here compared to elsewhere?
Honestly, I just think everywhere has. I think everywhere's got their challenges. I think one of the good things about coaching in different countries is that you start to understand that the problems here are the same everywhere. Everyone's grappling with their own context and trying to win at this level, but how do we get more of these players involved? All these different things. But I personally, I love coaching here. I love working with the Thai players. Before I took over BG, I didn't really know too much about the Thai league, but then I watched a bunch of games and I just saw some qualities from those games with mainly the sort of local players, and I just thought it was really exciting. I thought you could really do something with these players because of the things we mentioned. They're dynamic, they're aggressive, they're honest, they have good individual quality. So I think having that experience before, you don't really get too caught up in your current issue. It's just you understand that. I mean, if we look at national teams, I think every national team for England, there's always a huge amount of criticism. Every national team's got their own issues. Middle Eastern teams at a conference, and they were sharing about challenges with their league and foreigner, all these different things. But it's the same thing. I think we're all struggling. We're all trying to, but everywhere's got challenges.
With so many Thai players playing in Thailand, I mean, there's only a small amount which playing outside of. How intrinsic is the quality of the Thai league to what you're trying to do, and how important is it that it develops more and there's more development amongst the teams?
It's very important. I think at all levels of the league, I think again it comes back to we just got to keep improving everything. But it's definitely tied, but then then there's the complicated part of, it's not for me to sit here and tell clubs what to do and how to run their clubs, but certainly I think there's an opportunity, which I know is a continuous conversation, to create more collaboration around how can we improve the standard of this, sports science, training methods, all these different things. And I just think that's got to be constant. We've got to constantly be trying to improve what we're doing.
And personally, how do you find coaching in Thailand? I mean, language barrier, how do you deal with translation?
I don't think it's been an issue really. I remember you know, when I was in Bahrain and even Qatar, I had a translator, and I was a lot less experienced back then, and learned. I had some challenges, you know, in those moments. But again, to your question, I think that's probably why I just love working here, because you got the people are so respectful. You know, talking about the translator. I mean, I've never felt any shred of doubt or any intention of doing nothing but translating exactly what I'm saying in the way I want it to be said. And I feel very comfortable, and I feel the players are receptive. But I just think that's a cultural thing. I think
you must have a good translator as well. You must have someone who can
but the translator is very good. But again, even in my time in BG, I thought all the staff were fantastic. The local staff, I never felt anything but support. You know, just good people, and you don't get that all the time in all the play. You just don't. Sometimes it can be really, really difficult. But I've had nothing but, I can't say anything but positive things around, you know, working here, working with the staff, translator. You know, I think it's been good.
Great. Your spell at BG was quite short, really, but in many ways it was quite successful. Everyone we speak to always has positive things to say about it. Why did it come to an end so short?
I don't know.
It's a mystery. No one seems to be able to answer that.
I don't know. I remember we were in a taxi on the way home. Me and my assistant. Actually, my agent was here because he was going to come over and speak with the club about long term, and we got a phone call. That was it. So I don't know. But listen, I have no hard feelings, and
one door closes and the door opens.
Yeah, no, but I also love my time there. I loved it at BG. I love, you know, working with the players. I thought the staff were brilliant. Nice setup. Fans are amazing. I've got nothing but positive things to say about the club. You know, even, you know, the upper management were always good to me. You know, so I've got nothing but, you know, positive things to say, and my experience there was positive.
So after the SEA Games defeat the other day, will there be more of a rethink about a synergy amongst the levels of the Thai team, so that there's more of a system that's in place that will run through the different age levels, or will we carry on the way we're
No, listen, I think without going into too much detail, I mean, these are the discussions we're having at the moment. I think we've had some really positive discussions around how we can, you know, get aligned with all our national teams on both sides, and how we can improve scouting. This is all things that we spent a lot of time on, a lot of time researching, a lot of time analysing, and you know, I think hopefully soon we'll, you know, be able to put some of these things in place.
And you've been very clear about your immediate aims are to qualify for the Asian Cup. What happens after that? Where do you think you can take Thailand? What's the short term, long term?
Well, you're right. I haven't, like, to be honest, there's not one day that goes past where I haven't thought about that game and what we're going to do, what I'm going to say, what the game's going to look like. So I haven't really thought beyond that, because that is the most important thing right now. But I do believe, and it's easy. We're sat on a couch, and there's zero pressure, and it's very easy to say right now, I believe Thailand can go to the World Cup. But I genuinely believe it. I believe you know, especially with the expanded World Cup. You know, I've seen a lot of the competition in the region. I truly believe the Thailand team can get to a World Cup. I really believe that. So, and for me, you know, touch wood, we get the job done in March. You know, with the utmost respect to our opponents. But beyond that, I mean, there's nothing else we would want or we would be aiming for than to go to the World Cup. And I believe the team can do it.
You talk about the fans being so important. What's the style of football you want to create for them so that they have that energy, that feeling, that excitement all the time?
I just think a team that is aggressive with and without the ball. When we don't have the ball, we're not just sitting and waiting. We are building pressure aggressively. Everyone's giving everything themselves. You know, a team that's fighting constantly. You know, when we have the ball, it's not just passing for the sake of it and playing backwards and playing sideways, playing forward, using the qualities of our best players, getting our best players on the ball, being brave on the ball. You know, attacking players, attacking your defender, attacking the opponent's box. You know, that's really what I see are the strengths of the team, and I do believe that's what the fans want to see. I do, and unless someone tells me and proves me, that's what I feel. I feel the fans want to see a team that goes out and represents the country and the fans by showing absolute aggression, intensity, heart, spirit, and an attacking approach with and without the ball.
Thank you, Anthony. It's good talking.
You too. It's good to speak to you. Thank you.
The floodlight. What force I am. Yo, bang club, stand up in the stadium floor. Thailand Head action, always wanting more from Ports Rise to Bury Road Fight. Footwork fast under the floodlight. What force I am.